And welcome back. My guest, Michelle Hutchings-Medina. This article in the St. Louis American, Chris King did the article. It says, newcomer challenges. Hubbard, I want to hold developers accountable, says Michelle Hutchings-Medina. It's a very extensive article, and it tells all about your background. It tells everything, and I sincerely hope that the people will get a copy of the St. Louis American, that particular copy. Uh, what do you envision for the Fifth Ward if you're elected?
Yes, good question. Some of the things that I want to do is the community engagement piece is so important. So what I'd like to do is create a Ward 5 council where we get representatives from the ward to actually come to meetings and be involved with solving the problems of the ward. I'm also very interested in a concept called participatory budgeting, where people in the ward actually decide how the ward funds are spent. And so I think getting the community re-engaged is key. It's a key platform piece, as well as responsible development, making sure that there are actual jobs that are created for Fifth Ward residents in all of these huge development deals that are coming down the pike.
I understand in the key proposal, I read it recently, and it says that it had certain different things, and it says maybe clinics, but you're in the healthcare profession. How would you address healthcare in your tenure?
Yes, well, we have a number of healthcare disparities in the ward. When you look at it by zip code, there are certain zip codes that are affected by cancer, low birth weights, infant mortality, that are really at some alarming rates. So, but that being said, our healthcare system as a whole is in a state of flux, and so building hospitals, the overhead that's associated with building hospitals, you're probably not going to see a lot of that. And so what we need to do is invest in those types of clinical settings that will allow people to get care, allow them to engage in disease prevention. Those are the things that we'll have to focus on rather than focusing on large hospitals.
The area itself, I assume, is of very importance to you. How long have you been a resident of the Fifth Ward?
10 years.
10 years. So you've been watching it pretty steadily.
I've been watching it, yes.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting because there's so much I want to ask you about. Anything that you want to tell us about that I haven't asked you about? About the ward itself or about you?
Well, I just want to let the people know that I am a problem solver. I am a go-getter. I am here to help and to serve. And so I want to make sure that, again, that the community is engaged. I will be accessible. And frankly, I need their support. If we want to change the ward and we want to move things in a different direction, I certainly need the support of the people of the Fifth Ward.
How can they reach you?
They can reach me at 314-685-8122 and also at my website, www.citizensformichellehutchingsmedina.com.
You know, I'm so proud of you, Michelle. Women's issues, that's often not even discussed. And to see an African-American woman in your position with your advanced degrees and so forth and trying to do something for not only for your ward but for the entire city, I commend you. What do you think about the disparity in pay for women and so forth?
Oh, it's certainly problematic because there should be equal pay for equal work. And so I am really excited about the legislation that President Obama has put forth in terms of equalizing the pay structure for women.
Would you do anything special in the Fifth Ward to address that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
Because there are a lot of businesses in the Fifth Ward, and I assume that maybe you take a survey of something and see what's going on.
Yep.
Disparity, perhaps. I
Perhaps
don't know.
Taking a look at that.
Yeah.
And one thing is clear: there are many households that are led by women in the Fifth Ward.
Yeah.
And so making sure that they have employment opportunities and that they are being paid fairly is important, and also making sure that they have the education and training to be prepared for some of the new economy.
Great. Michelle Hutchings-Medina is my guest. And Ms. Medina, what are some of the other issues in the Fifth Ward that you want to address, and how can one reach you? I assume you have some grassroots support also, right?
Absolutely.
Tell us about that.
We've been doing a lot of door knocking, and as I go through the ward, there is a tremendous amount of support. I think people are happy to see that there is an alternative and to see that there is a viable candidate, one who is not afraid to engage them and reach out to the community.
When is the election?
The election is Tuesday, March 5th.
Okay.
So make sure we...
That's the same day as the mayoral election.
Absolutely.
Citywide election.
Yes.
Okay.
So we really need Fifth Ward residents to come out and vote. It is the one powerful thing that you have, your vote. And so please come out.
Okay. You mentioned while we were on break that you wanted to address things like health care and daycare and transportation.
Correct. As well as public safety. When we look through the ward and when we look at the crime stats, we want to make sure that we have solutions in place that protect all of our citizens in the Fifth Ward. So I would like to institute things like surveillance cameras in certain areas, making sure that we look at the NOM model, which stands for Neighborhood Ownership Model, where the neighbors actually play a role in paying attention to what's going on in their community and reporting that to the police.
One very important question I want to ask you that a lot of alderpersons, men and women, when they're elected, they're fine, but will you be accessible to the people?
Absolutely. That's really one of the key reasons why I'm also running. We have not had the accessibility that we need from our current alderperson, and so what I want to do is to hold regular meetings where all the residents of the Fifth Ward are invited, and actually move those meetings around so that our seniors, people who may not have the ability to have transportation to get to meetings, if we move them around, it ensures that people who have transportation issues can still be a part of the meetings.
If one wanted to volunteer for you, how would they reach you?
Yep. Please feel free to call our campaign hotline at 314-685-8122. Again, that's 314-685-8122. Citizens for Michelle Hutchings-Medina. We also can be found on Facebook as well.
Okay, and what about the website?
The website is www.citizens4mhm.com.
Okay. You're on Facebook?
Yes,
how do they find you on Facebook?
Citizens for Michelle Hutchings-Medina Facebook page.
Now, how's Medina spelled?
M-E-D-I-N-A.
Okay. Michelle Hutchings, that's hyphenated Medina, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. I wish you all the luck in the world. Is there anything that you would like to tell the people that is there a first thing on the agenda, or a 10th thing on the agenda, or the 5th thing on the agenda that you want to talk, that you want to address?
You know, the first thing that I want to be able to do is to understand the plan that has been put forth by
Paul McKee.
By Mr. McKee. I have reached out to Mr. McKee, and we've played a bit of phone tag. There is a bill that is currently at Jeff City.
Jeff State Capitol.
Yes, where they are reviewing the extension of the Missouri tax credits for Mr. McKee, and so
which is millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. The project has already received $40 million, and this extension of tax credits would provide an additional $95 million.
Wow.
And I really have some concern about that.
Okay. I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for being with me and for visiting the New Life Evangelistic Center.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here and supporting Dr. Larry Rice, and all the other ministers and program directors here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. We still need your help and support. We've been here more than 30 years on TV, and you want something clean on your TV, watch Channel 24. But please support the New Life Evangelistic Center through Post Office Box 473. That's St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. I'm Bernie Hayes. Thank you.